Hello everyone, welcome to the piano tutorial from Minuet in G by Johann Bach. I hope that you find my tips and tricks and techniques to learn as helpful to help you in your playing of this song. So I'm going to go through a couple of things. I'm going to play the song with both hands, I'm going to play with the left hand, I'm going to play with the right hand, and I'm going to go over techniques, fingering styles, and hopefully these are going to be ways that are going to help you as I help others to play this song right here. Alright, so I'm going to play then the whole song so you can see it visually from here from the top of the keyboard, and enjoy. So that was both hands version, and so now I'm going to do it just with one hand. So I'm going to do just the right hand. So that was the right hand part, and I'm going to do just the left hand. Now the left hand part, it's really interesting part. Think of it as like a melody on its own from there. So the right hand has its own melody, and the left hand you can say has kind of like a counter melody, or you call it like a second melody. So let's isolate that first, and I would recommend if you have trouble playing the left hand or memorizing the left hand, I recommend just playing by yourself several times in sections, in small chunks, or even from beginning to end. But I also recommend also in small chunks as well. Well, this is what it looks like. So that was the left hand alone part. So right now we're going to talk about keeping a rhythm, and I'll put in some little things in between. Okay. Now the important thing is that when you're practicing this song, whether it is slow practice or you're doing a quick practice, right, of this song, you always want to keep it in beat, always. Okay. So what I mean is when you're playing the beat, there's dun 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 bum bum like that. So let's play it like that in rhythm, right? So we're gonna go. is I kept this in a very, very consistent rhythm. Now, if you're practicing this a little slower, that's okay. But what really, really, really helps is for you to practice it in a slower beat, but keeping the beat. So this is an example of the slower beat. So I'm gonna do it maybe bum, 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 bum. So I'm gonna play it like this. So it's gonna go like this. So I would use a metronome just as a guide to practice. You don't want to necessarily practice along with it because a metronome is literally a machine that just never stops, right? And then we're humans, not machines, but it's like a good guide. So sometimes you might want to practice along with a metronome, and you want to practice without the metronome, so that way you have a good sense of the song and keeping the beat without the metronome from there. Alright, so now I'm going to talk about the style and the fingering of the song, alright? So the fingering of the song is actually essential to actually do the style of the song. So the style of the song is very light and cheerful. It's not very loud, it is very graceful, alright? So if you look at your score, right? There's a couple of staccato markings, there is legato markings. So basically the legato markings are going to be the ones that have like several notes together, and it has like a long curve, right? So those are legato notes. So those are to be played nice and smooth, and then the one with the little dots on the bottom or on the top, those are staccato notes. So those you're going to play nice and short like this, right? Alright, now notice how I play the short staccato notes. So I'm kind of doing it like with my arm and also with my elbow as well, okay? So when I play this, right, I'm gonna go like this, right? And literally I lift my hand a little bit. So you're wondering, well, why is I'm involving my arm and my elbows if I'm playing with my fingers? Well, because think as your fingers as actually being helped by the wrist, and also by the elbow, also by the shoulder, your forearm, everything from there. So that's what's going to help you play in the right style for this song. So I'm going to go like this to play the first note. I'm going to go like that, and notice that to play the note, I didn't just push down. I literally went like this. So to help me play with nice tone from there. So I'm going to go like this, lift, and then short, short. And notice that when I did the short note, I actually went like this. So I went like that and sprung up, like if it's like a trampoline or something. So I went lift, right? I'm going to go to measure 3. So I'm going to go like that. So you want to keep that movement. So that's found throughout the entire song. So you have kind of like a starting note, mostly in the beginning of each measure. So you go down, lift, and then when you do that, I'm actually going to go like this, lift, and then up, down. I go up, down. Okay. So in essence, you're kind of literally doing like this. You're kind of like dancing with the music, giving shape to the song from there. Okay, so now the fingering. So the fingering, some versions of this song have no fingerings. There are others, or a lot of them have number suggestions. So the number suggestions are great, at least in the versions that I found, because they're very compact. So to use the right fingering, you want to be sure that you're playing all the notes within a specific section to be compact and convenient, right? So I wouldn't want to play the first measure, for example, right? This is the right fingering, so I wouldn't want to do something like this, right? So I don't need to do that because I already started with the 5th finger that's already there. So use the fingerings that are there, right? So that, now you might find like a 4 or a 3, and that's okay. Here in this score has a 4, but I could use a 4 because then I can just go like this. That's okay. I guess this version, they use different fingerings, so in that way, it forces you to lift right here. But if you have no problem lifting, just use maybe 4 here and then, oh, there it is. I didn't lift it, so you go like this, right? Lift. All right, so when I go to, let's see, measure 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm gonna go to measure 7. So measure 7, I have some staccato notes. It's a D, it's a B, and it's a G. And it says 1, 3, 5 more than likely. So when I do those staccato notes, I'm gonna go, and again, notice that I use my wrist, my elbow, my forearm, even my shoulder, just to play those notes. Alright, so just a few pointers there with the fingering of the song. So here comes the fun part. Whether you want to memorize this song or to just read it, or both. I say both because when I teach my students this song, I always tell them that be ready to read the song but also memorize it at the same time. So in other words, you could play the song by memory, but if you have a hard time memorizing songs, it's okay. So you can read the notes but then kind of predict what's coming up, right? And you also do that by also, again, it goes back to playing both parts separately so you can hear how the right hand sounds by itself. Likewise, how the left hand sounds by itself, okay? So if I were to do this, right, I would practice this song. I should be able to kind of hum or sing along to it. And you go do 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 bum 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 bum. Now I play this song and taught this song several times that I can sing the whole left hand, but it really helps for you to sing the left hand by itself, or at least play along and sing to it. So that way it can help you learn both parts there. Now, as you go along through the music, I'm actually going to go to the second page, because the second page, which is part 2, it tends to be more difficult than the first page from there. Why? Because it is quite different from the first part, but it's also kind of like the first part at the same time. Why? Because it has deep, 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 deep. It has that same rhythm. So when I play this, let's say the right hand, right? I'm gonna do the first measure of the right hand on page 2. So I'm gonna go lift, lift, right? So there I notice that I'm doing a pattern, all right? So I have this pattern, right? And when I go to the next one, it's different notes, but it's a similar pattern. It goes up by step 3 notes, skips down 1, and then it jumps to the interval of a fourth, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And guess what? The next pattern starts on E, but then it's going to do the same thing. The same exact pattern. Now when I get to that next measure, so we're in the 5th measure of the second page of part 2. So here I start on A, and I have like a little scale right here. It's kind of like the A major scale, but it ends on G, sort of, right? So I have to use the right fingering so I can be able to play all the notes. Right, so I keep going. I use this fingering, right? This kind of repeats. And then here comes another mini scale. So I have kind of like a D major scale. Alright, so then, okay, so now I'm going to go do just left hand, okay? And we're going to start here in the first measure of the left hand, which is a G. Then we're going to go here to F sharp. Right? And notice that in my score it says to use the second finger, which is a great finger, right? So I do the G, I do the F sharp, then I'm going to go on the E, and then I do the A. I use my first finger, and my closest finger, we talked about using the most compact fingering, the most convenient one, and the closest finger to that low A is the fifth finger right here. Okay, so then the next measure should be measure 5 of the second page. You're gonna go do A, and notice what I did. So after A, I actually immediately turned already to prepare. All right, so I'm gonna play the A and prepare my fingers so I don't miss it. Right, and I use the fingering that is there. And notice the pattern. So I have this, and this is gonna be kind of like one little pattern there, and then I have another one here, which is the so one pattern is the D, the C sharp and the D, and your one's gonna be the F sharp and the A and the D. And you say the other one is maybe the D and the C. Right? Okay, so I go here. I use the fingering exactly what is there. Okay, now here I'm gonna jump here to the nearest finger, which is gonna be the D. The nearest finger right here already resting on the next note, the F sharp, it's going to be that one. Now here I have to use this one as suggested in the score. I have a finger number 1 on that G, and I'm going to go here, and that way I can reach all the notes with ease here. All right. And then one of the last things I'm going to talk about in this video is going to be about embellishments, okay? So you can play the song with or without embellishments. So embellishments is basically adding a little bit of decoration to the song, right? So for example, this is an example of playing with embellishments. So you go... So that wasn't really in the score, but there might be some versions of the score where it's kind of written out or it's suggested to play it there. So it's like that because back in that era, this piece was written during the Baroque period. So the Baroque period, which was, well, a long time ago. So basically during that time, it was customary to improvise on the spot by adding embellishments. So now the key to adding embellishments is it goes back to what we did before earlier, is actually playing the song in time and then doing the embellishments in time, okay? So what I mean is if I don't play this in rhythm, here's an example, it would sound like this. Right, so kind of exaggerated there, but basically I rushed the embellished note in measure 3, right? Because I kind of panicked and I said, oh, I need to go fast up a note. But that is not the case. So what you have to do is you have to play basically, it'll be actually the top notes and then the bottom note and then back to the top note, right? So I might go maybe keeping the same rhythm. So those are things that embellishments that they're standard, or maybe I just added on the spot from there. Okay, but the key is when you practice it, whether it's slowly or fast, that you do it in rhythm. Okay, so it sounds like it's falling on the beat, or sometimes you might start those fast notes just a little before falling on the beat. So let me keep going here and play with some embellishments I'm just gonna add. So those are just some ideas, and then when I do this part, let's see where the embellishments are going to be. added some embellishments there, but it's really up to the performer. So as long as you get it on the right beat. For example, in the last 4 measures of the second page, I'm gonna go, right, so I'm gonna do it again. So it's gonna be like this. So it'll be 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Right, so there I did it right on the beat of the second beat. So I'm gonna go. Something at the end, I can slow down, or maybe, all right. So there, when you do the ending, maybe it could be something like that. So let's see what we can come up with. So I'm gonna go. Yeah, so this time I actually played the added notes. I did it before falling on the beat. So it's like in between beats. So I'm gonna do it again. All right, so very good, very good. So, and that's it for the tutorial. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me with any questions you may have, or any specific sections that you need help with, and I'll be happy to help you with the song. Alright, so until next time, and thank you for watching this video. See you next time.